So in the last video, we added at the rate entity annotation and at the rate ID annotation. Along with, we also discussed regarding the at the rate column. So we can I can remove the at the rate column, which is really not required. But if you want to have some any other name of the columns apart from the default name, then we can use at the rate column. So right now we'll proceed ahead with Hibernate configuration. And for the Hibernate configuration, there are two ways. Either we can do the XML configuration, or we can also do the Java configuration. So let's proceed with the XML configuration. For doing the XML configuration, we need to create a XML file to our web context or within the web context. So let's create it. Let's give the name as application context, or it can be any other, like database configuration.xml. It can be any other name. Within this, we are going to specify all the dependencies which the Hibernate needs. So there are a lot of dependencies, and in order to add the dependencies or to provide the required dependencies to the Hibernate, let's create beans, and within beans we are going to specify the ID. The first thing that we are going to specify, or the dependency will be specifying to the Hibernate, would be the data source, and the data source will be from this particular package, that is org.jdbc.datasource.driver.manager data source. This is the required class. Yeah, so you can press control, and if you're getting this hyperlink, that means the package which you have specified is correct. Then we need to specify the property the first property which the data source need is the driver class name, and the driver class name would be oracle.jdbc.oracle driver. This is the driver class name. After specifying the driver class name, we need to specify one more property, which is the URL, and the URL for accessing the Oracle database is jdbc colon oracle colon thing colon @ local host colon. We need to specify the default port, which is 125.1521 for the Oracle database, and the SID, which is ORCL for my database. Then we need to specify one more property, which is the username, and for me it's Scott. It can be either HR, or you can have your own database. username. Then we need to specify the password in order to access the database, which is ABC for me. After specifying this one or this dependency, we need to configure one more dependency, and this dependency is nothing but it's the session factory we need to specify. So let's have the ID as session factory, and this session factory needs the data source, so we need to specify that one also. So let's specify the package, which is org.springframework.hibernate4.local session factory bin. So this is the class. Yeah, it's correct. After this, we need to specify the property for this local section factory bin. The first property which the local session factory bin requires is the data source, which we have specified here. So the value should be given like this, that is data source, and the property name is also the data source. So this is the first property. After specifying this one, we have one more property that which needs to be defined, which is Hibernate properties, and for this we need to specify props, and within props we need to have prop, and here we need to specify the properties, that is Hibernate dot dialect, so which is org dot hibernate dot dialect dot oracle dialect. So this dialect differs for all the database. If we are using has2 database, then it would be has2 dialect. If we are using MySQL database, then we need to provide the MySQL dialect. So as we are here using the Oracle database, we need to specify the dialect of the Oracle. After specifying the dialect, we need to specify another one more property, which is hibernate dot hbm2ddl, which clearly specifies about the data definition languages or the statements, and we say that it should be of auto type and will follow the update one. So instead of giving update, we can also have create. So whenever we run the application, it will always create the table or the database, and if we use update, then if the table exists, then it will update it. If the table does not exist, it will create a table for us. After specifying this, we need to have one more key for the properties, which is hibernate dot show underscore sql, which should be set to true, so that we can see or view the SQL commands or the SQL queries. After specifying this, we need to have one more properties, that is hibernate dot format underscore SQL, and we need to specify true for this one. So after specifying all the properties, this session factory needs one more property, which is